really should not involve citizen comments back and forth with the applicant. He needs to be recognized by the chair.
Okay, so I have a question.
McDade has a question.
Okay, is there some type of city ordinance for this? Because it will be a dual business there. You said a hotel and a store. Would that can be considered a dual business? Two different businesses. So is there some type of city ordinance for that?
Just the parking that's required, but I mean, it's just like Empire West, you know, Empire West did multiple businesses all in one spot.
Please, people, y'all be quiet, please.
As far as putting two businesses, no, I mean, they're allowed to,
Okay,
as long as they're commercial reserve, I mean, and then the
I don't have to be quiet. I ask that y'all be quiet, please. We're trying to discuss something here, but the back talking is floating all the way up here. So everybody get a chance to speak.
you'll have to follow, building, you'll have to follow all the building ordinances that are geared towards a motel, which is geared towards a truck stop. Like each building, you know, business will be looked at in that way. Like the safety procedures, fire procedures will be slightly different for each one.
okay.
Which will be handled through the permitting process.
Correct.
I'm like green, I'm trying to visualize.
The reason why I ask is sometimes the builder would actually have like a 3D drawing of what the project may look like when it's complete. That's what I was asking
Yeah,
for.
we have an elevation drawing in the submittal.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it here? It's not in here. Oh, I thought he said something was in here. Let's see.
This is just for the landscape. We haven't gotten to the permit itself. And I understand, you know, Ms. McDade is concerned about additional parking capacity because right now you have trucks parked behind your facility, and you're a gas station. And so there's another gas station next to you and a hotel behind you. And if you add a hotel on top of your gas station, you originally made for in and out traffic. And so now, I think what her concern is now is that when you get to the permitting side, will you have enough parking for residents that's gonna stay at your hotel?
Yes.
That's
The
what
current plans are planned, the current plans are put together to meet the parking requirements of the city.
right.
And we're gonna limit the number of trucks that parks the back, because that's why the complete redo.
Is that where you're gonna make up for the, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the concern is that, you know, we approve a variance for the landscape, and then you come back with the project, and then we say,
Yeah.
you know, you don't have parking.
Yeah.
Now you spent all that time and money to do your landscape, and now your project's not approved.
Yep.
You see, and that's the, that.
So one of the comments in the variance request that we have placed is that we're not asking for any other variances. It's the only variance, and everything else is in compliance with the city ordinances.
Okay. And you're gonna, change some of your truck parking in the back?
Yes,
And make
it's
that
a
hotel
complete-
parking?
Yeah, it's a complete demolition.
Okay. So,
Any other questions?
Any questions?
Any questions?
all right.
And LJ, you're recommending approval for this variance?
Recommendation about variances, really just, we don't have an objection to it because they're gonna have to meet requirements, all our building codes, parking requirements and all
I guess
of it.
you have no objections
No
to it,
objection.
is my,
They submitted everything they need to submit.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the variant request for 213 Waller Avenue.
second.
For the landscape.
Show of hands, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have B, discussion and possible actions of creating a hotel motel tax committee.
So, this was something that we've discussed in our last meeting the use of hotel motel funds, proper use and all that.
Yes.
And I think you had recommended that a committee will be established,
I don't think it's a bad
right?
idea.
Okay, I think it's a good idea too. What's your next
I
suggestion?
think y'all
going
just
by doing
create, you could create the committee by action, and then if you want to appoint somebody or just instruct each council member to come back with recommendations, it's up to you. How many members would you like to? I think it's a good idea, because again, my recommendation, if you're going to do it, is to get people that are in the community that have a vested interest in this, your hotel community, the owners of your hotels, because it's coming out of their pockets, even though it's a pass-through expense, obviously, to the tenant. But other people, business owners, things that could be subject to, benefit from use of
Right.
those funds, that kind of stuff.
Right. And I think we did mention we would want one hotel owner on that committee.
I think it
At
makes
least one,
sense.
yeah.
They have a stake in the game.
Right.
I chatted with Mr. Johnny Singh, who has the Chevron, about possibly serving on a committee if it was formed, and he was interested and said he would consider it if the committee was formed as a representative for
And
business
recognizing they would be
owners,
purely a recommending body, but it would help kind of go through the application, create a system of scoring applicants and make recommendations to council.
If I'm not mistaken, we should have all of that in place already because we used to have a committee in place.
Great. If you've already got a standing committee, we just need to fill it, then we're just looking at people to fill the spots. Do you remember how many people served on that?
Ms. Connor, do you remember how many people?
Yes, initially, actually, I was the hotel motel committee president, and what happened was each council member nominated one person.
Okay.
And from there, that's how they formed the committee, and they would accept the applications. We actually had a training with arts.
Good.
And so we knew what the funds could be used for, and that's how we created the application as well. We would review the application, we would have a meeting earlier before the council meeting. We would have that meeting that week before, and we would decide by making sure they had all the receipts or necessary invoices. Then we would give a recommendation to the council whether or not to approve the hotel motel application, and that's how we would go forward.
So my
Yeah.
question, when y'all did that, did you have the receipts for the heads and beds after you gave the profit after? or
Actually, how
before?
we did it was like for the hotel, at the time, the La Quinta was the most suitable hotel at that time back then. What we would do was we would get a block of hotels from him, and that invoice, he would produce us with the invoice, and we would give him the check directly. So the money went directly back to him. It didn't go to an individual person. Most of the time, we did only by invoices. We would send out. That way, it wasn't going into a lot of different hands. If you brought us the invoice, we made sure that whoever your vendor was paid
Okay.
before the event. Not, sometimes it was after, like sometimes during the course of the event, you might have to get something extra, so you would have to give us an invoice to be reimbursed. But majority of the time, you should already have your spreadsheet of how you're gonna spend your finances. And what we would do is simply write out the checks for those invoices and directly pay those vendors.
Yeah, after those vendors went through the whole process,
Yes.
the recommendation, council approved it, they had
Yes.
accountable, standards, and we could go back and make sure that they did what they said they were gonna do.
Correct.
But do y'all still wanna head in that direction, each one of you appoint somebody, or do you wanna do, each body appoint somebody plus, a member of the hotel industry, plus a blah, blah, blah? You could do that however you want.
Everyone point someone, one person. and
That's
then
kinda
the
how
other
it's
two.
been done, so
Yeah.
if you wanna continue that, I
Same
think
thing, yeah.
y'all
That's
each
what
think
my
about who you want,
recommendation.
and, if you I don't know if you have them ready tonight, or if you'd like to
I don't have a reason.
just come back with, think about it for next
Yeah.
meeting, let's make those appointments.
So do we need to have a motion to reinstate that, or we just give ourselves some direction to go think about it and
I
come back
think
next meeting?
it's never been dissolved.
Okay.
It exists, we need to fill it with people. So
So it's just direction to ourselves, come back next meeting.
please
with-
come back next meeting
Okay.
so we can get this started, yes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Next item we have is C, discussion and possible action requesting a traffic study on Kellner Road. Mr. McAnally?
So, yeah, I had a constituent reach out, concerned about the traffic, especially the large truck traffic that goes up and down Kellner Road, and the amount of damage that's being done to Kellner Road. And And I know that we've done we've attempted to keep that road up and going, and it's kind of an ongoing issue. So I was just wanting to know if we could perform a traffic study. I don't know if LJA, if you guys have already performed a traffic study on Kellner Road recently. I would like to see us do a traffic study so we can understand what the use of that road is, so that we can develop an appropriate maintenance program for Kellner Road, and keep it functional for everybody that needs to use it. So that's my motion, is that we ask or LJA to conduct a traffic study for Kellner Road.
Would you prefer to come back with a proposal for it? How much are we talking?
You do know that the police department can do a traffic study.
Because there's an unknown cost,
Charges.
Okay.
the motion would be to instruct LGA to come back with a proposal to do a traffic study.
Okay. I amend my motion.
As far as the
So the
traffic
police
study, you know,
department
the
can-
police department can do it as well.
A traffic study.
I don't know if they'll be able to do the engineering and part that would be required in order to develop the road maintenance plan for,
Well, they're definitely not gonna qualify as a professional engineer for purposes of doing any work. So if that is incorporated overall as part of the overall engineering of the site, if you're gonna do something, then
but that's the whole purpose for doing it, is to figure out an appropriate maintenance plan for Kellner Road so that we can quit having potholes that will swallow Volkswagens appear in the middle of that road.
What's your motion, sir?
So my motion is that we ask LJA to return with a proposal for conducting a traffic study for Kellner Road.
I second it.
Show of hands, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Letter D, discussion and possible action, review convention center policies, procedures, and fees. Mr. Richards.
Yes. I would like to entertain the idea and make a motion to eliminate the convention center fee and only charge the citizens a deposit to make sure that the convention center is clean when they leave, and then to refund that deposit if it's clean, and also eliminate the need for security there at the convention center. The convention center belongs to the citizens. They are paying for it, it's their tax money. Okay, why are we charging them a fee to use the convention center? There should only, my opinion, there should only be a deposit just to make sure it's clean. And if there's something that happens, you can dial 911. The police station is right down the street. Okay, so I don't see a need, that I see a need for police security at the convention center when something's going on.
Only if it's alcohol served, I think.
Yeah.
That
And that's the
It should
current
be there.
policy, is only if alcohol is being served, otherwise.
I mean, I'm saying, it's just, my opinion, of course, we're gonna vote on it, that no security is needed when there's something going on there.
Did you want to eliminate the fee for non-residents as well, or maintain that?
The non-resident fee will stay, yeah. But I'm talking about the taxpayers that pay
So
taxes
just
here in
the
the city of Brookshire.
$150 resident fee, eliminate that?
Yeah, there's key deposit, all of this down here, yeah.
So what are you proposing be the deposit for cleaning, keys, all that?
325.
I would say the deposit for cleaning, right now, it's, cleaning fee right here is $175. It is right there,
Right, that's the fee that we get charged by the service that
Right.
cleans.
$175. And if it's clean when they leave, in a reasonable order, we're funding $175.
And eliminate the key deposit as well?
Absolutely.
eliminating the key deposit as well. I know that's been an issue in the past, is,
That's my recommendation, but I'm only one voice here, so.
Your recommendation was still to get rid of security
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't really totally agree with when it comes to the security, because I can remember things that happened in the past. This is one of those where I think we need to really, before we just jump into it, we really need to talk about it a little bit more and then bring it back. I don't have a problem with removing the fee for the citizens. I totally agree. You're a taxpaying citizen, you should be able to use it. It's gonna get built up pretty quick.
How many,
You know.
so can we do this? I'm gonna interrupt you. How, can we look at how many incidents that happened in the convention center in the last 2 years that required security to come out?
Well, they haven't really been renting it out in the last 2 years.
I
But-
just think it should be like, if they have alcohol, somebody need to be there, but like a baby shower, stuff like that, no.
Yes.
A church event, a musical, stuff like that, no, but like something that involve alcohol, cause, you know, alcohol can get a little rough and.
Okay, well, that's why we're voting, right? So that's my motion. And if it's I'm sorry. Well, he says nobody can say anything now.
You what?
Yeah, never mind, never mind.
So we now you just don't have to get it from, you know, if you have a law enforcement in your family, you can pay them, but you don't have to go to Brookshire, you can pay your
Yeah, but-
family if you want to. That was already,
The problem,
yeah. I'm just saying, if you know somebody that's actually a law enforcement.
Two officers.
but again, you're only paying that if you're only paying that fee if you have an event at which you're serving alcohol. If you have a baby shower out there, you're not paying for any security at all. Okay.
So it's actually alcohol in a teenager event, right?
Okay, well,
Well, I don't know the going rate of off-duty officers doing security, but I know there was an issue with people renting it, and then an officer showing up when they're for setup and they're being charged for that, and I don't think that's right. I think the officers shouldn't start up until the event actually starts.
That's why I'm saying, like, whoever we pay or whoever is the officer, we tell them, okay, you be here at 8 o'clock, that's the time they need to be there. That's what time they start, they pay right there. When it's 8, whatever time, you know, like, the person that's renting it say, okay, I need you to be here at 8 o'clock.
I want to recommend that we do take a little bit more time and talk about this. Because
well,
think we-
I mean, it's, if that's your recommendation, but
yes, it
I
is.
thought we were here to vote. I mean, we can, I thought,
Well, that's
that's
some
what-
other
yeah.
things we haven't voted on. So,
but, okay, if you want to, if y'all recommend to table it, I mean, I did add it to the agenda, but
That's fine, you
y'all-
could table it for
if
more
y'all
discussion.
recommending to table it,
I'd like to table it and come back with a comprehensive plan, looking at this, and a comprehensive proposal of what it would look like
To give it one more.
under the new system.
And just everybody bring their ideas, so we can all have a discussion.
okay,
but we
we'll
can
table it.
talk about it among ourselves as long as it's not
Right, right.
3 people.
I don't think there's anybody that's opposed to the idea of removing the resident fee, is there?
Right.
No.
I think we're all in
It's
favor
just
of
more
that.
about the.
More about the
like
security and some of the
security and
detail
stuff.
issues, I think, we're gonna have to hack out.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
so we all agree on that?
So we table it?
Yeah.
Next agenda item is E. Discussion and possible action on city employees overtime policy. Mr. Richards.
So currently, the city employees receive comp time, except the police department. The police department receives overtime, okay? And I would like to make a motion that the city employees receive overtime. Maybe not the administrative staff to a high level, as Ms. Corner and the Public Works Director, but they'll be on a case-by-case basis if we have an emergency or a storm or something. But other than that, the other employees, that they could receive overtime now, at time and a half.
That's your motion?
That's my
Are they-
motion.
Are they currently prevented from? I
Yes.
was looking at the policy, and it doesn't say that we're prevented from doing that. It simply says that we may offer comp time. And
So that means
We're
they
not
can get
prevented,
it
it's in the policy that they can receive, so it's
Right.
not a policy change, right? But right now, the city has elected to use the other one,
Oh, it's
to
comp
only
time right
do
now.
comp time.
right, I
I'm
get
recommending,
that.
but we have to make a decision that it can't be both, okay? So we either go overtime or comp time, because
Can we allow the employee to decide how they would like to receive it?
Well,
Whether they want to
you're
get,
gonna-
whether they want to get paid cash or whether they want to take the comp time?
I'm sure they want cash.
I mean, that, to me, is the way the policy is written right now, is that they can get paid or
want comp
they
time
can
or
take
cash.
comp time
Some
in
of y'all
lieu if they
decide
wish.
I'm okay with that. As long as they have an option to make overtime, yeah, I would be okay with that.
comp time or cash?
Comp time. Yeah.
Who said
Mayor.
that? Who, what was that? Cash?
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would suggest that they bank the first 40 hours in comp, and you cut it off, and then they can receive the rest in overtime. If not, the city may go under in payroll, because we already had,
Many people in the past.
With huge amounts of comp time, huge.
so I would say if 40 hours, you go in, that your first 40 hours that you work over is banked into comp time. After the 40 hours, you can be paid your overtime. That way you can always have comp time in case something happened.
Okay.
I like that idea.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Make that a motion, sir.
Okay,
Do we have to make that a motion, or is that just direction to city staff to operate?
we
that
make
way?
that a motion.
Make it a motion.
All right, so make a motion that the employees have to retain 40 hours comp time,
Before
and
they can start.
before they can start receiving overtime.
Second.
Who second? Which one?
It don't matter.
Taylor.
Give it to Ms. Taylor.
I'm surprised.
Show of hands, all in favor?
Aye. We don't want to show hands, we say aye.
Hey,
That way you keep your comp down too,
yeah, to a lim, to mean,
Good idea.
minimum.
a
I meant to
minimum
say.
of 40 hours.
Okay, next agenda item we have is F, discussion and possible action to purchase road repair zipper equipment. Mr. Rich.
We may have to table this one. I've been waiting on the quote to come back from the vendor. But this machine will be used to repair our roads here in town. It's a machine that's operated by two employees that actually was displayed at the TML
Yeah,
conference.
They're amazing.
Really good machine, and, because you know the roads here are horrible, right?
Yes.
And this machine would actually make some significant progress in repairing the roads here, but I don't have that price back yet. Yes, sir.
One thing I like to say about that is, the videos I seen on that and all, that was running it, was a pretty good sized Fleming road. And the city had, I don't know if a little backhoe, rubber tire backhoe will push it and grind it. I mean, that's something that we need to
Yeah.
consider, because every video I saw was a pretty good sized Fleming road.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's definitely heavy.
Thank you for that comment. It was a newer newer style. But I'll wait for the cost to come back, and then I'll have a formal presentation for the council.
So we'll table that?
Yeah, we'll table it.
Okay.
We'll table it.
Yeah, to get the job done. Okay, we'll table to the next meeting. All agree, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item is G, discussion possible action to evacuate the fuel tanks from Public Works facility. Mr. Richards.
So I visited Public Works, and I noticed there are fuel tanks in horrible condition over there. And hopefully we're in compliance. And then I was told that they're gonna be the diesel tank or fuel tank is gonna be removed from there. And I'm just concerned that Public Works has diesel and gasoline availability at Public Works. But from what I'm being told, the gasoline will be moved to the police station. Of course, they purchased new pumps, new tanks, right? So, you have any information on that? About the fuel tanks at Public Works? The condition of them they need to be evaluated. Let me just say that. We need to send someone over there to evaluate the fuel tanks at Public Works to make sure that we're in compliance with the TNR and CC and everybody else
Actually, what we're supposed to be doing is updating. You know, the old tank that's at the PD for the fuel over there, it's supposed to be drained, pulled out, and the new ones go in there. And also, we're working on the diesel tanks at the Public Works.
Okay.
Because my idea is that you don't need to have Public Works having to go way down
Right.
there and fuel up when they can just fuel
Right.
up in
We
there.
have emergency, a hurricane, or
Yeah.
disaster, and also there are houses that are residents that are around that facility. So we need to make sure that those tanks are in good condition, they're not leaking anything.
Plan on is to replace them too.
Right.
That's the plan.
Okay,
Was there money budgeted for that, Mr. Mayor? Do you remember?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did budget money for it?
Yes.
I have a question since we're talking about the fuel tanks. Public Works and the police department is not sharing gasoline, or are they? They shouldn't be, because it's set up in different line items. So are they sharing gasoline?
What I'm saying is each one of them should have their own place.
Chief, are they coming to use your gas? Oh, okay. Okay.
I believe
Let's just make sure that
I
they,
believe they have a diesel tank and a gas tank, both at Public Works right now, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And again, I was told that moving forward, the gasoline tank will be moved to the police department. So hopefully that's not so. And then we need
Never
to
heard
also evaluate the condition of those tanks and make sure until new ones get brought in, that there's no possibility there's any leaks over there. So someone need to go out and evaluate them, yeah.
The new ones for the police department has already been delivered. We were supposed to be getting some new equipment for the, Public Works as well.
Do we order, so do we know if they're on order already, or, Ms. Corner, can you check and see
yes, sir.
if they're on order already, or where we at on that? Thank you.
Also, I'll do a site visit and see
Oh, yeah.
what's going on with
Okay. I guess you want to table this as well?
No.
No action? Okay. Let's move on to letter H, discussion and possible action to reevaluate the warm and cooling center requirements. Mr. Richards.
Okay, so each time that we have a weather event, the question always comes up, and we get requests from the citizens, is the city going to open the cooling center or warming center? And I think there should be an ordinance that at a certain temperature, below a certain temperature and above a certain temperature, it should be a requirement to open it. Because right now, It is the decision of admin staff if they're gonna open or not. The last event we had, cold weather event, the Warming Center was open on the day the sun came out. And in the 2 days that it was below freezing, the frigid weather, it was not open. So I think we need, my opinion, that we need to establish a temperature time, a temperature that the centers will be open.
Instruct the council to create an ordinance with those things you're suggesting.
Okay. That's what we'll do. Yes, create an ordinance with those.
Ms. Green, you wanna say something?
I'm just, who's gonna be required to open it? And if that person's not available, who's next in line?
Well, we had police, the police department was on standby last time, and they had employees ready and waiting, but admin didn't open it.
You should have an
Okay.
emergency responding team. And most of the time, your person to declare anything would be your mayor, but the chief of police should be head of your emergency management, as well as your city secretary and your department heads. They should all be readily and available. I was thinking about that we might need to go to Tatum training. Some of us are emergency responder trained, but the rest need to be trained as well to know how to react.
I would just second Mr. Green's concern, and if we prepare an ordinance, I think that should be kind of laid out in there, who would be responsible, what would be the hierarchy of how those things would play out, who would be
Yeah.
responsible for staffing it while it's open, what hours it would be open.
Yeah, well, we need to do this
Sooner than later.
quickly and do it this time, because every time it gets put off, another event come, and then luckily, no tragedies happen. So this is something that's very important. It's a public safety concern, okay, that needs to be resolved, because we never know when something's gonna happen. It's gonna be really, really bad, and we will have nothing here for our citizens that we're required to do.
I don't think anyone's opposed, we just need to have the ordinance drafted.
We don't even really need an ordinance, we could work together on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So do we need to take any action?
I think we have the guidance.
Okay. Done deal.
Letter, discussion and possible action to select Anika Davis, Lord Simon, and Henry Lasker for the Trail Ride Committee. Mr. Richards.
Okay, that's my recommendation, but if you all wanna allow me to have one person in the council select, because as we met last time, I think the directive was that each council member was to provide a name for this project. Okay, and so since I didn't see any more names, I just put some names out there to make sure we did have somebody. But I'm okay with removing two of my names, and if it pleases the council, to go ahead and select whoever you all choose, or you all can make a decision and go with who we have now. But I can tell you that, a lot of people look at just trail ride, oh, it's just a trail ride, but the city of Houston recognizes the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Parade. They almost shut the city down for it, and they have a parade. So trail ride here is just as important as it is in the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. And that's why I think we need a committee, but again, I'll remove two names if it pleases the council.
So is this more of the hotel motel committee or trail ride committee, or is it?
It's the one,
Same.
just one.
It's a separate, no, it'd be
Or separate?
Separate,
Got two?
separate,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Does this committee exist? Is this an existing committee, or do we have to establish it?
I think it needs to be established.
Needs to be established?
So we're gonna have two committees that's over like,
So it'll be a hotel
Same
motel
thing.
committee and a trail ride committee.
The hotel motel
Hotel,
committee would
yeah.
be for,
Yeah, well, go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna explain the same thing. Go ahead.
hotel motel committee would be for any event that happens in the city that wants hotel motel money, they would submit to that committee. That committee would determine whether or not they're eligible to receive that money.
Okay.
This trail ride committee is to recognize the fact that we have a couple of major trail rides that could become something great for Brookshire, and we want to, as a city, support that, and so that we want to create a committee to work for the city, to make recommendations to city council, how we can make those trail rides even bigger, better, et cetera.
Right, because with that, to bring tax revenue, they'll make sure that the security's done right, that the routes are done right, all those types of things will be done with this, and more will be done with this trail ride committee. Yeah.
So I think that we should go forward with the names you chose already.
Yeah, cause some of them is a trail boss, I know.
And I chose some of the people I know that have been active in the community in doing this, okay, that I know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I got to the
And
names.
have you talked to all of them, and they've accepted
Yes.
the
Yeah,
opportunity?
somebody needs to make contact.
Yeah, I have,
So-
yeah.
So, we need to establish the committee, and then to appoint these 3 individuals as the initial members of the committee, is that?
That's my
Is
motion.
that correct?
Yes.
You just want 3?
It is, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
we can add more if you
Choose
like.
those 3, and then if they want to add more, maybe they can add
Yeah.
more.
They could add more. They could add more, yeah. Okay.
So
But I second your 3.
up to 5 members? I mean,
I'm
that's
fine
what we've done in
with
the
that.
past.
They
one.
may know somebody they want to
Yeah.
suggest
Mhm.
from the other trail riding clubs, that they can be on.
I second your 3.
That's what we
That's
said.
what we just
That's what I was
discussed.
saying. Get them,
Okay.
and they can choose who they want.
We could take a vote. We got those 3. Everybody agreed with those 3.
And
Okay.
your motion is to let them fill
Let them
their
pick their
committee.
own.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will fill their committee, well, give them a number, 6 or 7.
Just, you can do 3 and 3, so 6 altogether with them 3 and then additional 3.
I like 7 because then
Oh,
you
well,
don't ever
7
ha- you
or-
d- you don't ever have a tie vote.
A whole lot of people.
That's fine.
It's a lot of work.
Establish a committee of 7 for the trail ride committee. We also gonna need some type of, bylaws on record to show certain, what they're gonna be doing. So we can make sure that they follow their guidelines because of the responsibility of insurance purposes. In case they say that we need certain security, we need to make sure that we supply that security. So we need to make sure of the list of things they're gonna be demanding from, not demanding, requesting from the city. So we can make sure that we're covered.
Reach out to Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo and see, they might have something in place. And see if they charge for security, because they may charge for security too, so. If, reach out to them, yeah.
So, Ms. Connor, can you restate the motion as it exists right now?
They made a motion to select Anika Davis, Lloyd Simon, Henry Lasker for the Trail Ride Committee, with the committee consisting of 6 people. The committee will add the additional 3 people. Well, we said 7. You amended it for 7. Correct.
Thank you. Do we have a second already?
Yeah, I seconded it. Or I guess I made the motion. Which one?
You made the motion,
I
Mr.
will second it then.
Vote on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item is J, discussion and possible action to review all outstanding projects were previously submitted by city officials. Mr. Richards.
Okay. So there was a number of projects that kind of not gotten done and kind of fell on the wayside, and I would like to add those back to the admin staff or our agenda back again, okay, as projects. And I can read them off to y'all. One of them is the $1.3 million Mid-Mart grant. That's a project that is hanging out here and with no updates. And we keep adding it back to the agenda. Then we get an update. We don't get anything, and then we go 2 or 3 meetings, and then we add it back to the agenda. I would like it to stay on someone's radar, and they can give us monthly reports on this project so we can know that it's moving along.
Is that the
That's
drainage or
That's the
paving?
drainage project.
It's the
for
drainage
4
project.
streets and retention ponds Right now, don't know any status on that
I
project
agree.
right now. Also, the ARPA funds, same thing, added back to the project list. No updates, no status, no idea where it's at. City Hall sidewalks and flower beds out front sprinkler system. It's been like that for months. And we have no update, no status. That needs to be added back. The audit for 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. Okay? We need constant updates on these audits. Where are we?
Agenda items.
No information, no project, nothing. So add that back on. The mayor pictures and the bricks. Same thing. Please add it back because I have no idea what the status is. I think last time we talked, it was on Canvas or something like that. But
I can give a status on the mayor's pictures. I recently gave those to Miss Vicky. I remember in the past, Mayor Branch actually reframed them himself. So, we're gonna see if we can restore them without messing them up and getting some better frames. We did receive a quote. I didn't like the quote,
How
and
much it was?
Mayor Branch had already denied the quote as well.
okay.
Was that for the canvases?
How much?
They were trying to get more
$14,000.
$14,000
To reframe 20 pictures?
to refurbish a couple of
Well,
pictures.
make
Also-
sure.
Also, the update on the pictures, I suggested that we get the little tags with their names on them. So Miss Vicky had Mr. Waters to come and identify one of the older citizens in town, and he came and identified them for us.
And it's a good thing we didn't have them done because some of them wasn't mayors, some of them were
Some of 'em
city
wasn't.
secretaries. We're getting ready to put the wrong pictures on the wall. Okay. So the other thing is the youth program that we
The
approved.
youth committee that we
The youth
approved.
committee that we approved. There's been no movement on it. No updates, no movement.
Did we ever appoint any members to that committee? As a
We
city
had
council?
Pastor
assigned that
Jones.
to admin staff. All of this was assigned to previous admin staff, okay, to get done.
So admin was gonna recruit the members
Right.
of those committees?
It's
Admin
Yak.
was
You're
gonna reach
talking
out
about
to,
Yak.
Yeah,
to I think, Mr. Dr. Lee Jones, because
yeah.
they're gonna reach out to him, get the names, get the
Stamps.
program back going. That's the last I remember.
On that as well, there was, I think it was Ms. Ward that said that there was some grant money out there that would help
Yeah.
fund it. And unfortunately, she's not here.
And we budgeted for it
You
too.
you
We
can't
got budget for it.
fund that.
We-
That's a TML organization. Yak is a TML organization.
That's what we was told by her.
But we budgeted. It's
Yes,
budget.
it
We
was
had budget.
always in the budget in
We
the past.
budgeted for it.
But it's a TML organization, just like the TML that y'all go to. It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's exactly the same thing. It's a
So there's no
TML
grant money out
organization.
there for that.
Oh, I've never saw it. I
Okay.
just know it's a TML. I never knew it was TML money out there, but
Well, I think the idea was there was grant money that might be available if that committee wanted to do some projects. Mr. Jones expressed to us some of the things that they had done in the past, and that the idea was we could look at some grant monies for some of those projects that they might want to do.
for the project.
Yeah. I believe that was my understanding, Mr. Green.
Okay. Few more. So the Hovis Park dugout tops. There's 8 dugout tops. You know, when bear came, it damaged the dugouts and the tops flew off of were torn off. So we need to add that back on there. Hovis
That's
Park
the
lighting.
EDC?
That's the EDC.
Okay.
But once the project is determined by EDC, it has to be also handed over to Public Works Director because council members don't deal with construction. Maybe they did before, so we don't deal with construction. Okay. So and then Hovis Park lighting, that's another one that's and then the interlocal agreement with the water district, that one's fell off the radar as well. Yeah. I don't know where we at on that one. And that's all I have.
Anybody else?
Now, Mayor Branch, you get a copy of that list
No.
and Look over that before we have another agenda like this.
Wait a minute, my future
Yeah,
agenda's on
no, you got enough already.
there. Those are my future agendas at the bottom.
No, I'm sure
He needs
a
to
lot
block
of that can be addressed
Right.
inside.
And some of it has already
House,
been
yeah.
addressed, it's just a matter of,
It has? Oh,
couple things out there has
Matter
been
of
done.
moving forward.
So, Mr. Mayor, we received grant money to do paving for our streets. That, at one point, we had approved a plan for the order of those streets paving. Is that,
ARPA.
has that
That's-
moved forward at all?
That's ARPA.
Well, this was additional funds that have been received in a project with the county, where they gave us several $1 million in shared funds
You
that
can
came
speak
from
on that, Ms. Glover.
Waller County.
I remember that.
Because me and Ms. Glover, Erica, we drove around and met
That's
with,
the ARPA.
what's his name?
Those ARPA
The
funds.
ARPA funds
Yes.
are already
Yeah.
for the road project.
we
and
talked
that's
about
it.
Those
all
ARPA
the
funds.
But I know we
We
approved.
hadn't
we-
got anything back from them.
Yeah.
We're waiting, we're working with the
waiting on
engineers. The
LJA.
the LJA was supposed to go out and identify the streets that we're gonna do with the ARPA funds, and you all drove around, and you all made a final list of those streets. Okay, but other than that, nothing has moved forward with.
Right, because council approved the list and the order of
Right.
those streets to get done.
Yes.
So what's preventing them from being
We-
paved at
They
this
don't
point?
engineer.
I've been reaching
Idea.
out to LJA, so.
And I know that deadline to spend that money is what, December what?
2026.
2026.
Yeah.
2026.
Ms. Connor, can you please remind me to forward you an email I received from Chief Jackson, but I forwarded the email to Erica Molina, and it was, I think it was around $16,000. It was like some grant funds that was allocated to the city. I have no idea where that came from, but apparently it was pretty old because it went to Chief Jackson. And so he sent it to me, and I forwarded it to Ms. Molina. So if, Ms. Connor, you remind me, I will forward you that email, and we can look into those funds as well.
Yes, sir. Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, you're stating the ARPA funds waiting on LGA because they did a street.
Right. So there were for many, well, a few years, there were a number of streets that were identified that needed to be repaired. And so the list was so long, we decided to narrow it down, okay? And so I think the mayor and Ms. Molina, I think, drove around to look at the worst streets, and they determined a certain number of streets were the worst ones. And that is where it all stopped. And I know there's a
Okay.
deadline for 2026, so
It just, to me, it would seem better if we did a study for ditch digging before we repair the roads. Because if you repair the roads and we having all these drainage issue, we're gonna go back and tear the roads up again to dig the ditches. So it should have been a study on the ditches first before you go to the roads.
yeah, but I think these funds were allocated where they could not be moved, from what I understand. They can't
Okay,
be, it can't be
well,
changed.
Our,
Can't be
ARPA
changed.
came out with a new list and you could
Yeah.
use it for those things, for all of those things now.
the plan was to make sure we get all the ditches dug first before we do the pavement, just like she said.
We would not get those done by 2026, but,
What, the
y'all think-
ditches?
well, I mean, okay.
But we have grant money for a drainage project to make that work. Somewhere there's a disconnect between getting that drainage project done in conjunction with the roads that we want to get repaired, and I think that's what's messing
The
us. We need
drainage
to-
project is only for 4 roads
Right,
and a retention pond,
right.
okay, not all of them.
But we had allocated other funds from the budget and other places to work on drainage, and we just need to be sure that we're
But
we're
we got-
allocating those
we-
funds and getting those projects done.
Not just 4 roads, but we wanna get all the ditches
Oh, absolutely, but
cleaned out, so
we
we
got-
don't have,
we gotta move with what we got money for
Flooding.
when we got it, right? And so,
yeah.
Okay.
exactly.
You have to block it off and decide whether you're gonna go 6 blocks square, half a mile square. That's something that needs to be decided. If you work that section first and you complete it, then you move on.
Right, sir. So there's no action on that one, huh?
I think you just did actually as instruction to staff to
Yeah.
get these things squared
Yeah.
away.
Which one was that?
We're on,
Okay. That was J,
K.
wasn't
Okay,
Okay.
it? Okay, next one is K, discussion and possible action for, fiscal year 26 budget preparation. Mr. Richards.
Okay, so we are, I guess, mid-year almost, and we need a budget workshop. We have administration change, and we also have new budget preparations coming up. So I think that we need to have a budget workshop to determine where are we now. Okay, because our financial report, although the city is financially in good condition right now, but we need to look at we need to have a budget meeting so we can determine moving forward, are we making money, losing money, what projects can we eliminate? You know, we don't want to end up like some other cities.
I know
that
that there
are-
have
that
been
are-
some budget amendment items that had already been identified previously where we're gonna have to make budget amendments to what exists, so.
Right. So it's time for a mid-year budget meeting. And we can set a date, whenever.
Would y'all like to schedule that in April?
Yes, April.
It's right around the corner.
It would just be to see where we are
Right.
in the budget. It wouldn't be actually starting on the next budget. This would just be to see where we are now in the budget.
Would that give,
We want to identify those budget
Yeah.
amendments and changes that we need to make and get those back to council so they can be approved for the mid-year, budget amendments.
we can do it in April. I'm ready for April. I mean, I don't know
April?
if admins
Can you guys
Sure.
move that fast?
and, comptroller, I mean, of course, there's gonna be some involvement from comptroller. Will you all be ready in April? I mean, that's where we,
Just a question.
If we do a budget workshop for mid-year amendments, in April, can you guys be ready?
okay. Okay.
So you're gonna pick some days in April and send them out and see what people's availability is? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Agreed on a workshop. Next one we have is update.
Oh,
Update on investigation of funds for the year 2022, 2023, and 2024. Ms. McDade?
Well, this is one of the things that Richards actually asked to be put back on the agenda, and it's on here. I know previously you were looking for someone to actually investigate the city funds, and we haven't gotten an update on that.
Well, that's kind of rolls into some of the stuff that's being investigated by the district attorney. We can talk about that in a second.
Oh, okay. All right.
But there's a reason why we haven't moved forward. We're waiting for some of that to play out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, then. Next one. Next one we have is M, discussion and possible action to implement a 30-day spending freeze to evaluate banking and financials.
we can eliminate that one. That will happen with the budget workshop.
That's what,
So remove that?
Yeah, we move it.
okay. Next we have N, discussion and possible action to review checks in amount of $16,400 concerning professional roofing. Mr. Richards?
Okay. So, there was a roofing contractor hired to replace the roof here on the convention center, professional roofs. And there was 2 checks written, one of them for $16,400. And that check was written to, when the contractor went on top of the building, identified the drains on the roof that were damaged. This was different from the actual roofing work. So when it rains on the building, the water runs into the drains and the water runs down off the roof onto the ground, something. So, in the walls or wherever. So there was a need, according to the contractor, to have a plumbing company to replace those drains, and the quote, the estimate that was given was $16,400. Well, I investigated because there was a previous council member that had mentioned he had to spend, because the check from the city of Brookshire bounced, the $16,400 check that was originally paid to Professional Roofs. This particular council member said that check bounced, and therefore he had to pay the $16,400 out of his personal account to the vendor. And so the first thing I thought is that either he's very generous
That's a lot to pay.
or something looks not right. So, and of course, you know, when I did the investigation, I found out that the original check that was written for $16,400 to the vendor was never presented to the bank. Okay? And therefore, the check that was written to the previous council member was fraud. Should not have been written.
Who was the
That
previous
check was
councilman?
cashed at the bank, and Ms. Gute did some research on it. She communicated with Wells Fargo and verified that the check that was supposedly bounced did not ever get presented to the bank. Okay? So, and the council member wrote out his own check request to give himself the check. Okay? So there was no two-factor verification here. Okay? And so the check was authorized, okay, and councilmember walked away with $16,400.
Mr. Richard,
So,
do you have the invoice,
yes, sir, all of it's right here.
the original invoice?
Yes. And Ms. Gute contacted Wells Fargo in writing by email, and Wells Fargo confirmed, is that correct, Ms. Gute?
Yeah, there were 2 checks written at that same time period, and there were 2 checks that we know they were written, we know they were signed, we know they were issued, but they were never presented to the bank.
And all,
I don't have record, I did not find record of any checks bouncing, any checks being refused, there's no letter from the bank that I saw.
and all of the internal paperwork seemed to look like everything was legitimate, but nothing was presented to the bank. So,
So do we still have an outstanding bill to the roofing company?
no, and it's my thought that the work that was supposedly needed to be done probably did not need to be done, because the vendor never received any payment for $16,400, and the roof's finished, so, and it's not leaking in the building, so
Right, and the drains work.
apparently, the work didn't need to be done. So, you know, it's difficult to deal with this kind of stuff, I know, but, you know, the citizens came to us before about things, and we had to look into what they said, and it led to other things like this. So, and right now, I would like to make a motion that this information be turned over to the Waller County District Attorney's Office for review.
I second that.
Mayor, you running the show. Of course, all of this, of course, at this dollar amount, all of this has to be approved through council, right? So this was placed on the agenda and given to council, previous council, and approved. Mr. Branch signed a check, and council approved it because, in looking at the paperwork, the way it was filled out, it looks legitimate. Okay? But, again, when someone says that they paid $16,400 out their own personal account, either they love the city a lot, or there's something wrong.
Has someone checked with the vendor who supposedly was paid for this work to?
I didn't check with the vendor, but I did do some research to go and find out,
It is.
Mayor Pro Tem and the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and the mayor. The mayor
Well,
pro
at
tem and the mayor.
that particular time, there was two signatures were not required. At that particular time, two signatures was not required, yeah.
But we have not checked with the vendor
Well,
who invoiced us to find out if the work was actually done or not. We have not followed up that simple question.
Hold on, you need a bit. I checked the vendor, with the vendor. I called the vendor, okay, and a few times, he answered the phone, hung up in my face. I Googled his location, and it came up to a house, okay, not a company, okay? And you're welcome to call him yourself if you like, and you can welcome to do your research if you like. It's up to you. There's all the paperwork there.
I just want to make sure that we don't have a vendor out there that thinks we owe him $16,400
He
because
was his own vendor.
they never got paid for anything.
He was his
so.
own vendor.
He'd be back.
Well, that's what I would. Yeah, that's what I would think, so.
So that's my motion to submit the paperwork to the.
It was second.
Okay,
already
there, I'm
seconded.
sorry, okay.
Can I see that?
I second it.
All in favor?
I,
All right.
Aye.
Huh? I said aye.
Oh, Mr.
I second
McMillan?
it.
Did you say aye too?
I abstained.
Abstain?
I have not done enough research on it to be able to make a reasonable vote.
that is still.
It's going
Okay. Next one we have,
This is going everywhere.
discussion possible update on EDC investigation. Oh, we're not
Okay.
doing that one.
Why?
Cause this is, it's a
Oh, okay.
discussion and possible action to update the city of Brookshire security system and review, contract. Mr. Green and Mr. Richards.
Want me to do it?
We had a meeting with the company who installed the security cameras. And they have a process on how they disable and delete users out of their system. But he informed us when he installed the system, they thought that they would actually manage the system. But once they finished the install, they told them they didn't want them, the previous administration told them they didn't want them to manage the system. And they just needed to know how to work the system. And then after the install, they requested for cameras in odd places. Odd places.
That one,
Convention center.
that one,
Camera right there.
that one right there.
So he explained the process and he questioned them, and he let us know that he didn't want to lose the contract, so he just gave them what they asked for. But then we were kind of wondering how things were actually getting on Facebook, which was discussed in executive session. Then we found out how recently, because previous council members still, or someone had access to the camera system. And so when the gentleman went into his system, he noticed that it was totally deleted. And he says, we don't do this. Our procedure is to disable it for 1 year and then delete it out. Where there was 2 profiles that was deleted out of the system. Then we went on the recordings of this camera. And Mr. Olson, the cameras had been running the whole time. And we listened to ourselves in executive session.
And those cameras, this camera was installed deliberately, brought in here and installed. The other camera system had already been installed. Someone deliberately hired the vendor to put this camera in and allowed themselves to have voice and see and record executive sessions since May.
And that is a violation.
Okay.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
As well as the one in
And
the
it will.
convention center where they hold elections at.
And also,
So you're talking about the second one?
And if you want it,
Are they gonna come in and do like an audit?
Well, here's the problem, okay? When city admin instructed the vendor to let them have complete control of the system, okay? The vendor does not have, according to them, the ability to go back now and look at who was watching. Although we verified our last meeting because we ran that camera and we seen ourselves in executive session. All illegal,
Well, I mean, that's a forensic matter, so I mean, again, I encourage you to turn it over to the DA. They are,
Right.
you know, they don't have it, but the Rangers have the ability to go back
We
and.
just need to go straight to the Rangers, cause they all.
I mean, that's, you gotta start.
okay, well, that's my motion. That's my motion.
And I second it.
What's the motion?
The motion is to turn this situation over to the Texas Rangers for investigation.
Second,
who seconded?
me,
Ms. Taylor.
Taylor.
Taylor?
Will an IT person be able to tell who had access to that computer?
According to the,
So are they able to get every computer in this office? Could they go back and check who had access to this camera and who listened to it at certain times?
we know who had access to the cameras, but we can't,
Those are questions that are good questions, but we, I mean, that's.
Yeah.
why we ask.
That's why we're doing investigation.
Because I mean,
We don't know the answer to it. We're gonna find somebody that can look at it. Texas Rangers is a great start. They have a great friend.
Yep, so let's get it rolling.
But get the,
Okay, we have the motion and a second.
yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Ma'am?
Can we call roll, cause you said, Texas Ranger, I need a roll call on what everybody's voting.
Mr. Green, your vote?
Quiet.
Aye.
Ms. Taylor?
Aye.
Mr. McNally?
Aye.
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 We did a roll call and everybody said aye to bring it in Texas.
Okay.
I have a question before we move on. There's a sub-part to that to review the contract. Is that something we still need to do, or? Yes, it says, discussion possible action to update the City of Brookshire security system and review contract.
I can expound on that.
Can I?
Go ahead.
As far as the contract, what I decided to do, because now I have some type of access, I spoke with them, and what we're gonna do is, we allow them to deactivate and activate so they can have an accurate record. That's the only thing that was updated on the contract. It was an additional
Yes.
service for an additional $100 a month that they have
Oh,
to now.
Mr.
That's it.
Richards, Mr. Richards.
So now it'll be a
We didn't
clear
mention-
record
We
of
got a
who's-
third party with something on the cloud to record
That's
all
right.
this. Perfect.
The mics.
Oh, yeah. The mics.
Oh,
What
I've
about,
already disabled all of the mics in here, that is no longer.
No, I'm talking about the mics for the YouTube recordings. We also found out that that individual had access to that.
Oh, yeah.
The microphones,
Oh,
no,
that's why they
these.
wasn't working.
Yes. Yes, no,
Two different.
he had password for this system
Get crazier.
up until about a week ago.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like that's been remedied.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's corrected.
Turn the rest over, and if there's criminal activity, we'll deal with it.
Okay. The next one we have is Q, discussion and possible action on changing 13th Street name to Jackson Street. Ms. McDade.
Okay, this was on the agenda for our last meeting, and we did have someone from the Jackson family to actually come and speak and kind of give us a little history of why they wanted the name changed. I know that there are other residents living on that street, so we do want to move forward with this, but we do want to actually contact those residents. Richards, don't we have a
So
letter of
we
statement
want
for
to
them?
have the city to send out a letter to all the stakeholders on that street, and also have a little mini public hearing to see if anyone's opposed to that. And after that, then the city would then notify the post office and the emergency 911 service and all the background information.
Yes.
I mean, in between there, we'll put together an ordinance, but I don't think you want us to do that until you get some feedback from the residents.
Right.
So no action, direction to staff.
No, I think that, yeah, at this
Yeah.
point, if you want staff to send a letter, let us
Right.
know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll work with them to send a
Yes.
letter, that would be good.
Yes.
Yeah, just direction to staff.
So to the Jackson family, it is in progress. We just want to make sure we take the right steps in doing it.
So the steps would be to distribute a letter to all the residents or property owners, tax owners that are on that street. From there, we would, notify them of like a town hall meeting, so everyone could come and if they would have any questions or concerns about the changing of the street name. Then from there, it would be placed in the ordinance. Once it's in the ordinance, they vote on it, then we contact the post office in 911 for emergency purposes.
The only change I would have is, I don't think we need a separate town hall. We just do a hearing and
A hearing
recommendation.
and a meeting.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. Our discussion and possible action to move city funds within the city limits of Brookshire. Ms. McDade again?
So we can actually table this for now.
Favor?
Any questions?
She wishes to table it?
Yeah, I'll fix
Any
it.
any rejections? Okay.
Ms. Green?
4.
Ms. Taylor?
4.
4?
Four.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, S, update on streetlights by the hangar. Ms. McDade.
All right, that would be me again. I know we discussed this last time, and you said you would contact CenterPoint, so I just want to make sure we stay on it this time, and it don't kind of fall off like it did from years ago.
Yeah. Also, Ron, involved into, do what? What did you say?
So was contact made with CenterPoint?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know the issue with it's not getting done already. I talked to a couple people from, the company, and they was, yeah, I know. They were supposed to go out and meet with Mr. Arbin, and where he could show them exactly what he wanted done. So.
Did it happen?
that's Not yet.
Okay. All right.
So the wheels of progress are churning, but slowly.
Might be stuck.
Might be stuck.
Gotta stay on them.
Anyways,
Before you go there, are we gonna have a staff report from staff?
It's not
It's
listed.
right here.
Not on the agenda, but it's not on the agenda,
I thought that was standard.
Not on
That's
here.
not standard?
no.
Have a staff, yeah. Here's one right here. It says secretary report right here.
Yeah, but it's not on the agenda.
I'm asking the attorney.
It's not,
If you would like on the agenda?
I'm asking, can we have it now or not? It's here. Well, that's what this is. It says city Brooks secretary report.
She said that's just her report.
Huh? Oh, so you don't have anything to share with us?
Oh, no, I'm saying, I gave a report, if you would like to hear it, I can give my report.
I'm okay with if it's just factual resuscitation of what's gone on over the
but
last.
no
That's,
one
that's
else,
what that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
no one else has,
No deliberation, just let her give her.
Yeah, Ms. Goutier, Ms. Stacy, Ms. Goutier, also, she did have an update on those audits, she did make contact, so I let her discuss
Yeah.
that she's been making contact, she did do that, and she did let me know that, so she can,
I mean,
and I will give mine, that's fine. I don't know if the chief would have anything he needs to talk about. I guess not.
Y'all have anything to report? That's what we're asking.
Chief, you don't have nothing to say?
I got a lot to say, but I'll wait.
Well,
okay, because I don't know if, let me just ask this question right here, okay? Is it not standard that a staff department head reports is done at every meeting? Or do we need to make an ordinance of okay. Okay, because,
Or part of the consent agenda or something.
okay, because I've looked at previous meetings from previous city council that before we got here, in every council meeting, there was a department head report done. Okay?
Like that, we will make that happen moving forward.
We can do it once a month.
Once a month, yeah. Because that's how those things that are on my list here are not followed up on. If we have a staff report, then we can make sure that these things are followed up on, yeah.
And I know that has been on previous council agendas once a month, because I know we've seen the chief's, we've seen the chief's report, we've seen the public works report. They usually come in on the second meeting of the month. Those reports come in to us, so,
Once a month, right? I'm just asking.
yeah.
But you can certainly go into executive session and talk to each department.
Yeah, I know.
Because that's on here.
Okay, we're going to go to number 8, executive session. Council will convene in the executive session pursuant to section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code, considering personnel issues and duties of public officers, employees. Do we have anything we're gonna discuss further?
I believe there was,
Since we all been talking, I forgot.
Yes,
What was it?
related to a certain,
make a motion.
that y'all were
Yeah.
consider.
Yeah.
I think that's the only action coming out.
Yes.
I make a motion that we authorize the interim city secretary to hire an assistant city secretary.
Interim.
Interim assistant city secretary, yeah.
Second.
All in favor, show of hands?
Aye. Why you telling us to show hands?
Well, the attorney said he was lost. He wanted us to show of hands.
So it's better, everybody.
I know, I'm just messing with you. Never mind, I almost said something I shouldn't have said. Okay, then, agenda item number 11. Future agenda items.
Well, my two were gone.
We will start with Mr. Green on the far end down there.
You got a lot too.
Discussion possible action recognizing, Norman Payne,
Oh, yeah, that's good.
better known as DJ Chose.
That's really last name.
P-A-Y-N-E.
Payne,
Mhm.
he does a toy, not a toy drive, but back to school
He
too,
does
I
the
think.
toy drive too.
Yeah, okay, both, back to school and the toy drive.
Okay,
That's all I have for now, Mayor.
okay. Ms. Taylor?
I don't have any at this time. We're gonna be working
What?
on well, the two that I had, I have to work on that person for Texas.
So you don't have any?
No, we don't have a text.
You're
Yes, sir.
next, Mr. McAnally.
Discussion of possible action on hiring an animal control agent. And I'd like to ask that we invite Mr. Miller to attend the meeting. And if he is yet unable, that part of that discussion be that we move on to another option. He's had several months now to respond and has failed to do anything. So,
Who is that?
Miller.
Mr. Paul Miller.
Oh, okay.
Paul Miller,
Green's guest contact.
can you email me his contact information?
Mr.
I'll
Green
get it.
actually has all of it. We've asked, Mr. Green's asked him repeatedly to come to the meetings, and he just hasn't decided to do that. And so if he's not gonna engage, we need to move on to another option.
Okay.
Anything else, sir?
That's it.
No, skip you.
Skip me. Gotta come back, though. Discussion
Okay,
and
Miss-
possible action to, refurbish the exterior of the, Public Works building. Is that Kenny Street?
Yeah, we gonna do all of that. Building gonna be pretty much basically almost tore down and reskinned and started.
Is that your future agenda?
Yeah.
So, we didn't vote on it, but I guess none of this will be removed, right? Because we didn't vote on any of it. So,
Vote on what?
any of these future agenda items.
Oh.
But,
As
so,
long as the mayor accepts it, it's on the agenda.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them all off.
He sure is. He sure is. Yes. He's telling
Okay,
the truth.
what else you need, sir?
that's it.
I think we better vote.
At the end, you can vote as consensus.
Yeah, all of these agendas are accepted by all the council members, and
Ms. McDade,
That's all you have?
That's it.
that's all he
You
said.
sure?
That's it.
Ms. McDade, come.
I don't have anything at this time.
that's
Gonna
three.
get out of here before 10 o'clock? Holy shit, Nikes.
But, never mind. Okay.
At this
Mayor
time.
Branch.
Make a motion that we all accept.
Mayor Branch, can I suggest something for me and Ms. Glover? That if you have anything that you did not give us on tonight, if we could have them no later than Thursday, 12 noon. That way we can start to make sure we have all of our backup and everything is sent to you, so you can review it over the weekends and so forth. Instead of it coming to you late, we can get everything to you. If we need to go and research and find something, we can do that, okay?
Thank you.
Ms. Taylor made a, Ms. Taylor made
Next
a motion.
Thursday or the Thursday before
I
the
did make a
meeting?
motion that all of these
Next meeting, 20, so
items
next
This
Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay.
and get added to the
When you
agenda.
at, when
I
you,
just did it right
I
now. I
second
need a
it.
second. I need a second.
Her motion is that all of these agenda items be approved by council. I second that motion.
okay.
So you cannot take them off.
I'm not going to take her up.
You say so?
I like this one.
We still got a couple of days.
I know, especially this guy
Until
right here.
Thursday.
Yeah, I know. Girl, that's next week. This Thursday, so we got a whole.
So what?
The workshop for the therapy project,
Oh, yeah, we do supposed to
Oh
have
yeah,
that.
we never did we needed to do a date. So yeah.
We did do a date, didn't we?
No, we never did.
For which workshop?
The third floor, basically the
Oh,
people
ma-
that
yeah,
want to
Vegas
come in
Thoroughfare.
and,
Yeah, they
yeah.
were supposed to send out some dates for that, and I don't think we ever decided on one.
We never did a date. Who wrote it down? Erica? Was Erica in
I think Erica was gonna send out some possible dates.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
just
And
in
she,
there.
she left, and I don't think it ever got picked up, so.
So Miss Corner,
Connor,
yes ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to try to get some dates gathered together. That will be mine for the,
for thorough plan.
Major
yes,
thoroughfare.
because, a lot,
Workshop.
existing thoroughfare plan?
basically it
doing a
was for
workshop.
questions for the community, basically.
Okay, so you're getting
Yeah.
some input before we go back.
Right,
and get in
11,
charge
13,
engineering about dating.
I mean, 12, 13, and what was the other one? 12 and 13
Workshop, and then just-
preferably,
But there will be no resolution or anything at this point, they're just gonna get ideas and then.
yeah, from the
We just want the public to be
residents.
able to give us input.
Right.
On the major thoroughfare plan.
So we need
Want
to,
these dates for April as well? This a date in April as well?
ASAP.
yeah, kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
I don't know. Nah.
She said it, not me.
You know I mess
Needs
with
to
him all
adjourn
the
the
time.
meeting. Make a motion.
Mr. Mayor, can we move to agenda item 12?
Sure, if I can find it. But, no,
You might as well.
I would like
I
to
might
make a
get it
motion
done,
to
it'll be
adjourn the
10
meeting.
Come on, come on.
agenda item number 12,
I move we adjourn.
future. Now adjournment.
Second, somebody has a second.
I made a
You
motion.
made the motion.
Second?
I did.
Oh,
McAnally made.
McAnally made the motion, you second, right?
Actually, I said it, y'all just didn't hear me.
Just
Well, I'll
play
second it.
along.